At the turn of the millennium, comic book movies were seeing a bit of a resurgence, transitioning from campy, goofy affairs into darker, more serious tales. Somewhere in between this transition, we received an adaptation of an Alan Moore graphic novel, in which a group of classic literary icons joined forces to combat a common enemy, in a film with cool ideas that weren't universally loved, and what would ultimately lead to Sean Connery retiring from acting. This is 2003's The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or LXG. In LXG, it's the year 1899, and a series of attacks across the globe by a masked menace with bilingual abilities called the Phantom is building tension between countries looking to place the blame and start a war. A British intelligence syndicate led by M. Richard Roxburgh convinces legendary explorer Alan Quatermain, Sean Connery, out of his retirement in Africa to join forces with other legends such as Captain Nemo, the Invisible Man, or rather a man who took his experiment, and Mina Harker. No, not that Mina Harker. That one. As they begin their mission to stop the Phantom, they also recruit others along the way, including Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Dorian Gray, and Tom Sawyer. Their mission hits a hurdle when they discover the man who recruited them is actually the Phantom, and later revealed to be Moriarty, and he is using the League to obtain their special gifts for his own diabolical ends. I saw this back in cinemas in 2003, and I fondly recall the cinema being not only full, but everyone really getting a kick out of this movie. For me, as a massive Bond fan, it was really cool to see Sean Connery up on the big screen playing a very Bond-like character in Alan Quatermain. And even reporting to an M, a cheesy in-joke that Connery somehow agreed to go along with. There's no doubt for me that he really carries the film along, and despite being 71 here, still managing to be convincing as an action hero. I also remember every time Quatermain punched a bad guy in the movie, the audience would wince. That's pretty cool to be that age and still be believable at fighting people half your age. He delivers quips well, has some brief but significant dramatic moments such as the father-son dynamic between Quatermain and Sawyer, who's played by Shane West. Connery reportedly did not have a good time making the film and would have constant run-ins with director Stephen Norrington. This allegedly led to Norrington challenging Connery to hit him in the face, causing Connery to walk off the set. Norrington was not at the opening party for the film and vowed to never direct another movie, and to this day never has, whereas Connery retired from acting altogether. It seems as if there were personality and creative differences between the two that caused constant clashes and just an unpleasant experience for both. Watching the film, Connery's performance is engaging and entertaining, and you wouldn't really know he was having a bad time unless you were there. For the remainder of the cast, lesser-known actors at the time played the supporting characters such as Stuart Townsend from Queen of the Damned, Jason Flemyng from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Naseeruddin Shah, who was a massive star in India but mostly unknown internationally, and Australian actors Richard Roxburgh from MI2 and Moulin Rouge, and Peter Wilson from the 90s TV show La Femme Nikita. Monica Bellucci was the original choice for Vampire Lady Mina Harker, but dropped out of the film due to scheduling conflicts. Although it would have been cool to see Bellucci as a vampire, Wilson is very fun to watch, darkly mysterious, tough, and also very funny at times. Her chemistry with Stuart Townsend as Dorian was really good, and I enjoyed their fight scene in the third act where they can't really harm each other. In terms of the action, it's entertaining, and although the special effects are a bit dated in certain scenes and the film spends less time developing the characters, the action keeps the pace of the film moving well, and it's never boring. The shootout in Dorian's library is really cool, and Nemo knowing martial arts is pretty sweet, particularly since Naseeruddin Shah trained in karate to do most of his fighting stunts. Quatermain kicking ass in Africa and taking the guy out with a long-range rifle shot is pretty awesome, and the chase through crumbling Venice in Nemo's sweet car is fun and contains a few neat elements like Mina turning vampiric surrounded by bats. Alan Moore, who created the original graphic novel, was apparently very disappointed with the changes that were made from his original story to the movie, including having Quatermain addicted to opium, which Sean Connery was not willing to play along with. Future adaptations of his work, such as V for Vendetta, were made without his involvement or blessing. LXG received pretty negative reviews upon release and underperformed at the box office, making just over 66 million in the US and 179 million worldwide. Expectations were much higher, and because of the lukewarm reaction to the film, a planned sequel where the lead goes up against the Martian tripods from War of the Worlds, the second series of the graphic novel, did not go ahead. And instead we got the actual War of the Worlds film with Tom Cruise in 2005 and its parody in Scary Movie 4. I'm still glad we got this movie and one last live-action performance from the great Sean Connery before he retired. LXG is by no means high art or Oscar-worthy, and I'm not going to pretend that there's a few logical errors, that the script gets a bit cheesy, and that the CGI seems a bit rushed at times. But it's one of those movies where you can turn your brain off and just enjoy the spectacle. Some would call it a popcorn movie. I think that sums it up pretty well. The cast do well in their respective roles, Connery is an engaging lead and kicks ass, and the action scenes are well constructed and enjoyable. It was definitely the Avengers movie before we actually got the Avengers movie. No, not that Avengers movie. That one, yes. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Road to Nowhere Films for more content. If you liked LXG, or even if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, I'm waiting to be impressed.